Esportsbets.com events. Only here, the best odds and widest coverage of games from Dota 2 to Hearthstone.
We have over 200,000 users registered.
Join us. Prove that you are the best versed in esports. Who will get the first blood? Who will take the first Roshan? Who will win the knife round? Participate in the race of predictors and earn real money. The more bids, the more bonuses. Reward for your first deposit up to $600. Esportsbets.com. Foresight, passion, and calculation.
Захват ПКБ, кулдаун по четверному! Какая просто невероятная дамага!
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We're live now. It's time for our second match of Group B. It's going to be NaVi versus IAPxctn, the lone representation for Southeast Asia. For Asia as a whole, the Chinese teams aren't here. They've got a lot of weight on their shoulders, Ben. Can they pull it off? We're going to find out momentarily. Draft is underway. Of course, I'm LD. He's Merlini. Where would I be without these introductions, man? There we go.
Whenever I see IAP, I think of in-app purchase for...
In-app purchase?
In-app purchase.
Oh, in-app purchase.
It's a pretty common term.
Okay.
I can't get over their name. Anyways, IAP, slight underdogs here. I don't actually know the odds. I will get back to you on that.
Did you agree with like the 80-20 NaVi favored?
Looks like it's 81-19 on Dota 2 Lounge, so it looks about right.
Okay. Maybe Shiver cheated.
I don't know enough about IAP to make an educated odds formation on them, but I've seen a little bit of them.
I do like this draft overall for NaVi so far. The Death Prophet Razor get banned by IAP. Two heroes that Denny and Havos respectively are great with. So also heroes that IAP like to run, but they don't get them because they ban them. And then NaVi first picks Skywrath. Go-to support for both teams, but it's in NaVi's hands now. IAP go back for the Bruisers. They get the Ogre Magi, the Tidehunter, the Fat Boys. And well, NaVi will respond with the Bat Rider. So they get their go-to initiator for Funnick, something that like when this team first formed with the new roster, they ran, I think like 8 games in a row, they won 7 of those games. Since then, they haven't run it quite as much, but Funnick is a scary bat.
Yeah, Funnick's their initiator and just really core to their team. On IAP though, yeah, Tidehunter is pretty good versus Bat Rider. Not excellent versus Skywrath, but still decent enough. And NaVi, they do kind of need a frontline hero just to tank Ogre stuns, to tank Tidehunter, get vision of him in fights. So I'm not sure what that hero will be, whether Havos will be playing something really tanky. Looks like the Viper Razor are already out. We'll see.
Bans continue now. NaVi removing the Viper and the apparition, as you mentioned. It's a Bane ban out for IAP. Normally you only ban Bane if you're worried about like a Marana Arrow follow-up or setup, or if you're picking something that is very difficult to lock down.
It's good for Slark pick. Slark's pretty good versus Bat, and decent with a Bane banned out.
And he'd be a super Slark with this Ogre backing him up.
Yeah, and it's not excellent versus Skywrath though. It's decent if you're ahead, but if you're behind, Skywrath actually does a lot of damage to Slark.
Later on you'll get that BKB, generally speaking, but not all the time. Not always will you have that kind of start where you can farm it quickly. IAP will remove the Earthshaker now. This does leave that Sand King we discussed out there. If anyone would pick it, it'd probably be NaVi. Highly doubt we'll see IAP with a double melee support and a melee offlaner. Nothing too unusual so far with these picks. Still waiting for IAP's game plan to unfold. They've got lots of lockdown, no real damage output. What are you thinking next for them?
Well, here's one answer. The anti-Bat Rider, pretty good for Skywrath too. So I like the Shadow Demon pickup overall, although he's not an excellent roaming duo with Ogre. When you do pick a Bat Rider, always somewhat scared of the counters. Like, Naga's a very good counter initiator versus Batrider, so is Shadow Demon. There are a couple others, like Slark as your carry is also a good way to deal with him, but Batrider, the scourge of many patches.
Do you think it's good enough just as like a Batrider solution? Generally when we see this, it's also like, oh, you're going to pick something that really benefits from Shadow Demon.
I think so. As long as you don't have, like, I think Shadow Demon Skywrath in particular is a really poor support duo. Just because they have no synergy together, but in general, you can just throw Shadow Demon. It's very good for ganking, catching up, and protecting your important heroes. But at the same time, if you have like self-sufficient mid and a self-sufficient bottom lane, you might not need Shadow Demon. It's also good if you want to lead up to an anti-mage pick, which IAP may be leading towards.
Yeah, I mean, there's like Morphling out there is decent with the Shadow Demon. NaVi will go for the Havost Gyrocopter, most likely. We've seen a tiny bit of support gyro play, but it should be the Havost hero. Doesn't really have like the ultimate combo with the offlane Void, but it's still just a solid all-around carry. A BKB builder as well.
I don't really like Gyrocopter here. He doesn't have BKB, or he does have BKB later, which is always nice for Tidehunter, but they don't really have like like a good front line. I think that's very, very important versus Titan and Ogre, or else there's no threat to either of them, and they can just
lumber in and start lobbing out stuns, anchor smashing, fire blasting.
It's also
causing mayhem.
They have a lot of bursts, but a lot of it gets countered by Shadow Demon with a defensive disrupt. I think they should have waited a little bit for their carry if they wanted to. If they want to go for like a Gyrocopter plus Wisp, I'd be much more on board with that than a plain Gyrocopter.
Wisp could be good here. NaVi have some very mobile heroes on the Scarlet Mage and the Batrider.
Yeah.
IAP, it is dangerous, though, to go Wisp against Tidehunter. That is like the ultimate counter initiator, along with maybe Enigma with the Black Hole. But we'll see. IAP now working their fourth pick, still holding their cards close to the vest, but now they're going to have to put them on the table. Don't really know what Jay's going to be playing. He's normally their solo mid. His Death Prophet's been banned. They go Wraith King. A hero that can withstand that initial barrage from a Scarlet Mage, Mystic Flare, the call down, the flat cannon, come back for round 2. If it goes super late, can build an Abyssal and go toe-to-toe with the Gyrocopter. And he will have Bloodlust support. Looks like a carry Wraith King here, unless they want to run an Ogre core, but kind of doubted that.
I like the Gyrocopter in the sense that he's good versus Tidehunter, and then you can kill him even if you have like Anchor Smash plus a lot of levels of Kraken Shell, but at the same time, all these heroes are just going to run up to him. Tidehunter, Ogre, and Wraith King. There's not a good way to stop them unless Batrider's pretty far ahead.
It is 3 melee heroes against the Gyro, though, so they will take a lot of AoE damage coming in.
That's true. But IAP, on the other hand, they can just aggro try with SD, Ogre, and Wraith King and just kill the Gyrocopter a couple of times, and Wraith King can just walk up, and Skywrath can't really prevent that from them.
They pick a tree, but it's against the Ogre and the Wraith King, both of which will quickly remove living armor.
FNG plays a nasty tree, though.
All right.
So they're playing to their strengths.
This, as an offensive pick, it is very strong. The tree, Skywrath, could be a great roaming duo with the Leech Seed and the Skywrath nukes. But I do feel living armor defensively it's not going to offer you that much this game. There's also Shadow Poison, which can remove it reasonably quickly.
Yeah, it's mediocre. At the same time, you do have 3 melee, so Overgrowth is going to hit
on true.
A lot of heroes usually. Still, it seems a little all over the place for NaVi. Like, they have a very aggressive Batrider pickup, no real big follow except for a Gyrocopter, not that much protection for a Gyrocopter too.
Overgrowth is good setup for call down. And the flat cat. That's the one thing. This tree is kind of like a decent AoE initiator, but or follow up anyway to a call down, just to make sure it hits. So that's okay. They now ban out a Storm. IAP don't really have too much lockdown for one. At the same time, I don't think I've seen NaVi run a Storm in a very long time. It is likely a Dendi hero, so they're on the right track there. Havost going to be on the Gyrocopter, almost certainly. Funnick on the Bat. Skywrath slated to be a support along with the Treant for FNG and Vanscore, so that does leave Dendi's heroes in the pool. What do you think NaVi want for Dendi?
Invoker.
EMP would be really good this game versus Wraith King.
I think Invoker's pretty good. They could also pull an Audible, and put Batrider mid, and throw like a Timbersaw. I think Timbersaw's really strong here. Or Dendi could play Timbersaw himself. So that's another option for them. Those are the 2 that I like off the top of my head the most.
Yeah, there's 3 beefcakes in the front lines. That's where the Timber can do a lot of work. IAP still waiting for that J hero, unless he's going to run the Tide mid and they do something else. But not expecting that. You mentioned Slark earlier.
Yeah, they banned a TA. I think it might be an Invoker, though.
IAP also like to run Invoker. Not so much lately, but it's like an old school classic for Jay. And he mostly did play at Crosswax. And this seems to be a patch where Crosswax is back in vogue. Outside of that, they've got a little bit of everything. They've got lockdown, they've got some carry potential, they have good defensive capabilities, plenty of team fight. So IAP really have everything open to them. It's not like they have a glaring need right now. The one thing they are a bit lacking in is push. They don't really kill buildings.
They also lack, yeah, I see that's mostly, they also lack anti-push.
That's true.
But NaVi doesn't really have that much push, so not a big issue. Andrew was actually asking us earlier about how we feel about the Wraith King. And so it could be, okay, so it's Naga Siren mid, DK.
Okay. I have not seen Bimbo play this too often. I think there was one game in like their last 10 to 15 where he played a Naga.
Geez, they just like instant pick Dragon Knight. They're like, whatever.
We know what we want.
Dragon Knight is very good versus Naga, though. He has multiple ways to deal with the illusion with the AoE from his ultimate at level 11, as well as the Breathe Fire. He has a ton of armor, so just shakes off Riptide and the Riptide Harass. And on top of that, long duration stun to just pop her during the before she gets off her ultimate.
Do you think you go aggressive try here still if you're IAP? Or do you consider just letting NaVi get their farm early?
Let's see. I think you can play it either way. It's not that big of a deal. It depends on how they want to play it. If they want to play it like 4 protect 1, or they want to like fight a lot with a Naga Siren, which I think is definitely possible with their lineup. And I would like to see instead of the very passive Naga Siren.
All right. Well, doesn't look like they're doing it for now. And with that, guys, we get underway with our first appearance for NaVi at Starladder Season 10. But this is a team that's attended, 8 or 9 Starladders, too many to count. They've lost some old teammates, but they've gained new ones in FNG and Bankscore, and they'll look to bring home yet another Starladder championship for the NaVi flag. Funnick will be your offlane Batrider, Dendy going mid as the Dragon Knight, Bankscore playing that support Skyrath, Havost on the Gyrocopter, one of his old school classics, and that leaves FNG as the Tram Protector. IAP moving through their own jungle. They ping out right near where that Observer Ward is. I think Jay might have an idea about its placement.
They don't exactly know where it is, though.
They're painting in the general vicinity anyway. He'll be making the first ever appearance for a Southeast Asian team. Interactive Philippines, also known as Execration. We had a Korean team at the previous Starladder, but this time around IAP represent all of Asia. You've got Jay, also known as Bimbo, your solo mid Naga Siren. Fox will be playing that core Wraith King, starting with the Quelling Blade. Chemo, support Ogre Magi, and that leaves Emma Stone will be handling your safe lane, support Shadow Demon, also known as RR. And that puts Iwi onto the off-lane Tidehunter. So a Tide up against a Tramp Protector, Skyrath Mage, Gyrocopter Tri-Lane. Gonna have his work cut out for them there. A lot of nuke damage against that Kraken Shell, and potentially the Stout Shield. And, well, Jay going mid up against Dendy's Dragon Knight. Should be a pretty good lane for both heroes, just free farm if they're not ganked. Then off-lane Batrider up against a similarly annoying and strong Tri-Lane. So looks to be a rough game for our off-laners early on, Ben.
Yeah, I think Fox needs to be very active this game on the Wraith King. We see some Wraith Kings just like passively sit back and farm, but they already have Naga for that job, so it's up to him to try and make big plays early if the Naga's not going to contribute that much. And they can't let Dendy roll all over them with a DK. They can't let him push down their towers, have him just beefcake up in the front with Living Armor and Dragon's Blood.
Chemo's thinking about a D ward here. Oh, is it in range? I think it's just out. Are you serious? Look at that. Oh, he just has the vision. Okay. I was going to say, if that's out of vision, then I can't imagine how frustrating it must be. He barely gets the D ward. Still, it blocks 2 spawns, as he didn't get until after the 1 minute mark, but pretty big win there for him. In the meantime, in the mid lane, Dendy off to a slightly rough start here. Jay already 8-0. Dendy only 3-0. He is under the gun, but now does get his bottle. Top lane, Yui taking some harassment, but with the Stout Shield, the early Magic Stick, he is very durable. NaVi unable to bring him down. First blood actually is the bottom lane where they dive onto Funnick's Batrider. Just caught the very tail end of it. Looks like a Fire Blast, or a Wraithfire, or a Hellfire Blast started it. Then they followed it up with a Fire Blast from the Ogre and a Disruption in the mix there as well. First blood to Execration.
Yeah, they managed to push up very early on to the tower, and even though Funnick has boots, Disruption is just a great gap closer.
Well, the good news is if any offlaner is going to struggle for NaVi, the Batrider can always go to the woods. So he'll have his catch-up ready. They have not stacked the jungle yet. Maybe trying to, but there's a haste room bottom. No fire. Oh, actually does a Firefly. All right, I was going to say. Looked at the cooldown right as he cast it, and he'll be able to retreat on the back of that. But He's under pressure here in the off lane. He's trying to get what experience he can.
It was very smart for the Shadow Demon to get boots early, too. If he knows Funnick is going to go boots early, he is going to be their initiation. And the Ogre, neither the Ogre nor the Wraith King needs boots if Shadow Demon has it. So,
man, Dendy's getting wrecked mid right now. Jay is up 7 CS on him.
I actually think Dragon Knight has the upper edge in this matchup. So Jay playing astoundingly well in the mid.
And he's up against Living Armor, too. In fact, he's even diving Dendy. He's got the boots lead. I don't think he tries to go for this kill, but Funnick forced off the offlane with the first blood. He's going to start stacking the jungle, so the offlane going worse here for Navi, the mid lane going worse for them. Still, they have a very strong mid game. They have great initiation from the Bat Rider, and they might find a kill here top. Iui in all kinds of trouble. Being pursued out by Vangskor. Havos smells blood in the water. It's a fish he wants. It's a fish he'll get. The Creeps trying their best to KS that one, but the timing was a bit off.
Yeah, that's a very aggressive play by the Tidehunter trying to contest that creep spawn without any boots.
Normally you'd see it contested from like down here, not from up on the high ground.
Yeah, he also has vision of it too, so he can play around that and try and leech up some extra experience.
Well, overall, still, if you're IAP, you get a first blood against Navi on their home turf. You have to feel happy about that. And if nothing else, it should give them confidence as this game goes along. They're successfully tri-pulling now, so getting good levels on these supports, keeping relatively even with Navi. The Scarith Mage has moved slightly ahead here, but so too is the Shadow Demon. No smokes yet. Actually a little surprised about that. IAP have a very good ganking lineup, and Navi do too.
They should have been smoking a little bit earlier, especially as soon as Funnick doesn't show up in the lane. I think they can turn around even a kill on a top lane if they so desire. Dendy's a very difficult kill in the mid.
Yeah, he's back to full health now, and he could just bottle Crow from here.
Funnick also is getting a lot of experience too. Almost level 5, even after giving up first blood. Does deny the rune on the top.
Yeah, he caught up nicely. Did they actually stack for him? I didn't see any
I believe
earlier.
so. I don't think there's any way he can get level 5 like that without having a stack.
There is a smoke from IAP, right as we asked for when we do get it, but they're going mid. And there's a little backup here. Dendy passing off his bottle charge to the Bat Rider. Will he reveal this? No, he backs off just a little bit too soon. Now the wraparound can come. They don't have a net, though. They're going to have to start with Disruption. The Riptide was used during that Disruption. I think the gank's just over at that point. Now the turn onto Chemo. There's a Dragon Tail ready, but this is a tanky Ogre. Not sure they can really get this kill the either way. Denny will try. Has he overextended, though? Back comes in. The Naga chasing onto him with the illusions, the follow-up Fire Blast. Where's that Living Armor? Has it already been used? Yeah, there you go. Popped at the last second. Jay still with the Riptide. Dives, gets the kill on Dendy. He got greedy, overconfident, and Jay brings him back to reality with a kill there and makes his way out too.
Man, had he been level 6 at the beginning of the engage, it might have been a lot different because he wouldn't have to extend so far. He was actually level 6 and didn't pick up that ultimate in the meantime. But yeah, got a little bit over-aggressive. Funnick didn't have any mana. He was just trying to fly over and help out and just take too much damage. 3 stacks of Shadow Poison from the Shadow Demon.
And he is maxing it out first. This is, I mean, the potential for damage here with Soul Catcher is it gets close to 4 digits once it's maxed. Emma Stone now will drop an Observer Ward, get some good vision on FNG bottom. They spot him out. They don't have any Mon on their Shadow Demon, just a Soul Catcher or a Disruption, not both. Probably not going to be able to punish this Tide off lane for now. And they may just give the mid lane off to a support, send Jay into the jungle. He's already going for his stacks. And he keeps his farm up reasonably well here. 31 CS with the kill as well. More or less even with Avost so far. But Avost is adding up the CS a bit.
Tower push coming in now.
And with Dragon Knight, this hero, it gives them what they were lacking going into the 5th pick, is some push. They do find Dendy, though. Initial Fire Blast to start, then they disrupt another support. They disrupt Havos, rather, then gets Hellfire Blasted. Too much follow-up. He may end up going down, but the cooldown hits 4. IAP underestimating the Gyrocopter's teamfight potential. They get a 2-for-1, but it's a Wraith King ult. So not the hugest deal. Continue to chase. I don't think they get any more kills. Massive rotation from IAP. Send 4 heroes top. They get Havost. It's a 4-for-4 trade on the top lane.
If they just waited maybe like 5 seconds for Tidehunter to get 6, man, that would have been a lot different of a fight. I think they would have gotten maybe even 3-4-0 at that point with the Ravage.
And he was pretty close.
Yeah. Still, pretty good turnaround.
And Jay will complete his drum, so he's going for a little bit more combat-oriented early on. Tanks up against the Navi nuke damage. Still farming evenly for now. But the other thing about that rotation is it gives Funnick more breathing room bottom. He's level 7.5 now. tied with the Naga for most leveled here in the game, and this is after giving up a first blood. He is caught up magnificently. Look for that fast blink dagger from Funnick. Don't expect any boots of travel shenanigans from him.
I like the drums first from Naga Siren. If you look at Navi's positioning right now, they're just playing highly aggressive. Even just judging by their hero lineup, you know that they're going to try and get pickoffs with Bat early, use Dragon Knight's ultimate early to take down towers, as well as living armor, and IAP just having none of it.
They're giving Navi a great run for their money so far. Net worth, pretty even, a slight lead for Navi there. Experience, a slight lead for them there too. So their economy is starting to kick in a bit. But IAP, they've got a fantastic late game of their own, and this slight disadvantage really won't deter them. Bottle now comes out for the Dragon Knight Dendi. His rotations have been decent so far. He brought the top tower down to like a third HP. Still there's a glyph waiting. And they continue to stack for the Naga Siren in the jungle. Emma Stone now bringing out the double stack. Illusions will Riptide to clear out the wave, while Jay heads all the way bottom to get that rune. Iwi still lurking close to his tower. Does he sense this rotation? There's 5 heroes. They use a cooldown to try to initiate, but Iwi just walks away. Not the biggest cooldown by any means, but it's more this 5-hero rotation. Thankfully for him dodging it. The question, Ben, is do IAP try to hold this? Do you like Song TPN
Not worth
and
it.
Ravage, or do you just let it go?
Not worth it unless you have Wraith King ultimate. They can't risk Wraith King and Naga both being underfarmed, and probably
just
one
died
of them
to
is
a
going
neutral
to...
creep. I didn't actually catch that. He did not buy a blink dagger or anything, so I guess just took too much damage from neutrals.
Yeah, I didn't see that one either.
That's unfortunate.
The Satyr. GG Satyr right there.
What an asshole. Only 100 health too. Navi, unlike Execration, do want to defend. They will TP in multiple heroes to the bottom lane. There's no Wraith King ult, so therefore not a fight that IAP are likely to take. Though, as I say that, they bring an Iwi. He does have Ravage ready. Dendi close to getting caught. Not quite in range though. And Navi will back off, but someone who might have to use his ultimate right now, Jace. No, nuke down the river. Concussive shot was already used. They just can't get in range with the drums.
Did the Kong shot miss? I think it...
Oh, maybe it did.
Yeah, I think it missed.
Silence onto Jay, and he walks up directly into Navi. He wants to set up a Ravage here. He'll Son. That caught 2. Can they get in range in time? Looks like they can. FNG in a lot of trouble. Ravage comes through, connects beautifully. Bank score instantly dead. Havos getting a great call down on 3 though. Might be enough to turn this. FNG clubbed to death by the Tidehunter. And IAP look for the retreat out, but Dendi drives by with the Breathe Fire, brings down 1. The Wraith King close to his ult cooldown, didn't have it for a minute. Will end up dropping as well. Jay still running. Lasso used to totally no effect on the Iwi. He'll back out. They may even turn around on Funnick here, but he's got a Firefly in 7. And the sticky Napalm is adding up. So Hellfire Blast, they keep on backing off. IAP, it looked like it would be a better fight for them than it was, and it's not done yet. Oh, there you go. There's your Kraken Shell. Right before the Flame Break comes through. Maybe if he had Flame Break first and then auto attack. I don't know. Would have been close, but either way, not enough. And finally, Funnick does get his blink. 10 minutes. It feels like it could have been like an 8-minute blink, but nonetheless, still a pretty fast one.
And only 2 supports down on Navi. Just Skyrath and Treant Protector for the Shadow Demon.
They made out big there. The piece of good news for Execration is they did not lose the Naga, at least.
Still, they lost Wraith King. That's a pretty big loss for them. They blew a lot of ultimates for that, and they won't be fight ready for quite some time. Navi knows that.
With the Dragon Knight ult now deployed, they want to push. But Riptide will deter them a bit. Clearing out the wave, they do have a single catapult and a secondary wave roaming in. It is a level 3 Shadow Poison. Decent to D-push, but probably not enough to stop it. And Funnick wants to punish anyone lurking in the woods. He starts to move towards Jay. Jay retreating up the hill. Everybody kind of looking to surround this bat, but Navi have backup in the mid lane. They're going to try for the Purge. He blinks out, then gets Riptided from the high ground. They don't have a net yet. They'll take the Purge damage, and they do hold the tower. Then they get the Wraith King Blink Dagger, and he's got ult back up. This could actually be okay for IAP.
Yeah, once Dendi's ult is down, the push is very close to being finished. Wraith King has Reincarnate up in case he wants some man mode.
He did not go Midas. We've seen a lot of Midas Wraith Kings, mostly just to get the level 2-3 ulti.
Definitely doesn't need it.
But he goes for the Blink this game.
They have Naga. They can't overcommit to early game items, or sorry, late game items.
And Jay is now working towards that relic, you have to imagine, up to 1,600 gold. Looking at Navi's draft, how well equipped do you think they are for a Naga, like a Radiance Naga? If this goes later, do you put them at disadvantage, or do you think they can deal with it?
I think they can. It depends on how far the towers are pushed down for Navi. Like if Dendi gets a Mjolnir and with living armor, oh, Jay in mid.
Calldown's going to come through, but he gets disrupted. Great play from RR to keep him alive. Then the turn, Ravage only hitting Havos. Jay will split, and he'll be able to retreat out, and Havos goes down. underestimated how willing IAP were to defend their Naga once again, and they're going to find more, perhaps Funnick. Oh no, he'll blink out just in the nick of time. That was with the Wraith King only arriving at the fight at the last second. Good Shadow Demon play once again.
Yeah, this Shadow Demon pick, I mean, even just for that play is paid off.
1-1 and 5. He's been involved in 6 of 7 kills. That's impressive. And he's keeping his carry life to boot. Fox will leap forward onto Funnick. Do they get a follow-up stun? They're close. Not quite though. Living Armor's there. Enough to keep him alive. They lob in the long-range nuke. Will he tick down to the burn damage? Nearly, but not quite. The Bat Rider ends up falling. And then they lose the Naga. The Bat Rider Funnick came in, and IAP now in a headlong retreat. No Ravage. They've lost 2. It might well be 3. Iwi and Fox both running away. Fox does have his ultimate. Iwi still running. ThanxScore really forcing this chase. There's a 2-for-1 exchange there, but crucially, Ben, they lost their Naga, and they lose the Tier 1 mid. A nice swing back the other way. This has been a very up and down game, but NaVi begin to extend a lead now, closing on a 1,500 to 2,000 gold lead.
Yeah, Dendy's just monstrously difficult to take down too, and they can't really leave him in fights either, just because Dragon Tail almost leads to certain death unless Shadow Demon's in a great position to defend against it. And that was a okay fight for NaVi. Getting that mid tower down is extremely important for them too.
Yeah, lets them invade the Naga jungle, and on the back of the tower death, Observer Ward down mid and 1 in the jungle. So now when Jay tries to go farm, they better have supports behind him, or he's likely going to die.
Oh, they might catch out Jay again here.
Firefly was used. They go on the Ogre instead, committing for chemo. Mystic Flare, he's dragged into it. Song will be used to disengage. But now Jay's got to run. Oh, they're bringing in reinforcement. Shadow Demon here. They may want to try and turn this one back around. 1 poison thrown out. And then the commitment onto Funnick. They get the stun off. They will probably get the bat kill here. Unable to run out. Plinked down by that last Shadow Demon auto attack. It is a Song for a lasso and a Bat Rider kill. But now 3 minutes where NaVi will have a lot more flexibility in ganking this Naga.
Yeah, Funnick's in a difficult position. He doesn't have any great lasso targets, I say. Shadow Demon is usually your ideal target, but he has to deal with a Blink Ravage. He has to deal with the Song of the Siren, as we just saw. You don't really want to lasso the Wraith King either. Not an easy bat game in terms of target selection.
And they're looking for their first Tier 1. In this bottom lane. That would go a long way towards helping the Naga, but right as they're looking for that, Havos buys a BKB, and he joins the fight. Ravage was used, but did not connect on Havos. Big bad copter in the house. Brings down 1, looking for more. Only the Wraith King ult for now, but Fox will die a second time. Do they find a straggler? It's a 10-second BKB just for 1 kill right now. Still Funnick chasing. Flame Break secures that kill in Embestow. Make it 2-0. And no trade. No towers yet. They're trying to siege. So 2-0 plus a Wraith King ult, and it's still a level 1 ult. Pretty damn big win, once again, for NaVi.
IAP should not be trying to make super aggressive moves like that without the Naga Siren ultimate. They need a reset button just in case things get hairy. And let's see, Wraith King losing 2 lives right there is a very big loss for them, especially considering they'll probably lose his bottom T1 in the process.
And once NaVi starts taking these towers, you're up against Living Armor. And you've got no way to remove it on towers.
I think it's time to shift gears and prioritize the Radiance on Naga Siren instead of trying to limit NaVi's farm.
Well, NaVi is trying to prioritize aggression. Onto chemo they go. They have a silence to start. Fox just hanging back at the tower. I think he's expecting more reinforcements. He's not getting them. Where's the backup? Not defending with their full team, just 2. NaVi now looking to punish it. 5 heroes descending on Fox. They leech seed. This could well be, and probably will be, another death for the Wraith King. They may even lose the tide if Iwi comes in. After a great beginning, IAP getting a bit careless here, and NaVi are poised to punish it.
Yeah, they're falling apart right now. Just need to play a little bit more safe, initiate with Wraith King, and then just try and get easy kills. Maybe with multicast, use Ravage for solo kills, and if NaVi tries to go for a tower exchange, just split up, split push, take some towers of your own. They have all their T1s up on the side of NaVi, so even though Naga is an excellent split pusher, they're not really using it to their advantage. Although I think it was the right idea fighting with her for the first 12, 13 minutes of the game now, they've fallen a little bit too far behind and have to rely on another tactic.
The other thing is that NaVi do have good illusion clear. With a Dragonite Gyrocopter, so if it comes to late game versus Naga, they can fight those illusions. The main area where I think they'll struggle a bit is just dealing with the split push. Yeah. But they have bat for that, so it's still decent. So NaVi off to a pretty convincing mid game, up by 6K gold, 6K experience. It's a game you really want to put in the bag if you're NaVi, because you still have Secret, a very difficult opponent. NaVi lost their last match against them in the Summit. They almost beat them in the Starladder well, they were beating them convincingly, and then there were some DDoS or server issues, ended up not completing the match. So at the same time, a team that by no means is a guaranteed win. And VP also looked pretty good. So you want to put this one away and take the convincing win here versus NaVi. Overgrowth from FNG, along with a Mystic Flare, all of it onto Chemo. The disruption again from RR will keep him alive, but they don't have a Wraith King ultimate. Then the multicast comes out, focus on the Dendi. Where's that Gyrocopter? He's only now coming mid. Avost is very late to the party bottom lane, and without his BKB call down, difficult to win this fight. Into the trees, Vangscore will go, but Wraith King there to greet him. It's a 2-for-1, and they may, do they have any detection for FNG? No, it looks like not. He's able to retreat. They finally get their Blink Dagger, but they want to turn this one. Avos has BKB. He wants to YOLO it in. And they might get the Naga. Song is ready. Going for the TP out. No Overgrowth. He'll be able to escape.
They really need BKB on Dragon Knight. He was tanking it up, especially with the living armor, but then a 4 or 5 stack of Shadow Poison just hit him like a truck. They can't afford too many more deaths on Dendi, especially with the carry potential from IAP coming in very, very soon. Jay sitting at 4,400 gold.
Radiance isn't that far off. He's only, what is it, 700 or so to go? Very close.
700.
And NaVi just don't have the most mobile lineup outside of the bat. So if this Naga gets farmed, sure they can kill the illusions in a fight, but can they stop Jay's split push? That's the question. For now, they are chasing him. He's going to try to saw him, but he gets caught by the lasso. And then the Ravage. Counter-initiate. I don't know if it's good enough. They lose Jay. Iwi doing his best to bail out his Naga, but probably should have sacked him in retrospect. And now everyone from IAP charges headlong into disaster. 3 dead. Emma Stone on the way out. IAPxctn. Oh, costly there. They thought they could turn it with the Ravage, but it took too long. Still, he will have Relic, but it sets back the Radiance at least 2 minutes.
That's really greedy going for a rune without any vision. And he was very close to his Radiance there. So, well, not that ideal timing for him in that Radiance.
And they're going to lose more now. RR's caught out. He self-disrupts, but this only allows NaVi to set up shop around him. They'll go with the Dragon Tail. The follow-up damage comes through from Vangscore, and NaVi really begin to pull away with their first game of Group B action. Now up by 7,500 gold, 7,500 experience. This is mostly fighting without Havost. He's now on top of the BKB, picked up a Mask of Death, working towards either just the straight butterfly, maybe completing his Dominator and stacking the neutrals. Either way, his first big item en route, and still the Naga looking for hers. And we talk a lot about the Naga's farm because, Ben, nobody else really has any on IAP. Just a Blink Dagger on Tide, an Urn on the Ogre, and a Maelstrom being worked on by Fox. But how much are you going to get to right-click this game? You're up against Call Down, Overgrowth, Lasso, Sticky Napalm, Flame Rag. You are mostly just a walking ultimate and stun.
See, he's still very good in the less than 5-on-5 engagements, but NaVi have been moving around together very, very smartly. And I'm not really sure where the Wraith King pick fit into the lineup. If they were Dire and they had more access to Roshan, I'd be like, okay, yeah, I can get on board with that. But he's not an ideal hero in a 4-protect-1. Naga Siren doesn't benefit that much from the aura. And yes, I can understand that they want a front line to deal with NaVi's lineup, but they already have Tide and Ogre for that.
Yeah, NaVi were the ones who seemed like they needed a frontliner. And they got it with the Dragon Knight.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out why they picked that over almost any other carry. Like, let's say, I don't know, anything.
Yeah, I mean, well, at this point, they're working with what they have. They can reevaluate it for the next game. But NaVi now claiming Aegis. They continue to roll their advantage, pushing it for as much as it's worth. They get a Boots of Travel out on Funnick to go with his 4-staff. He is the second most farm hero, and at that exact moment that I look at the net worth, NaVi get the 3 top farmers all on one side. That will change likely with the Naga picking up a Radiance. But a Naga alone with the team this poor may struggle to carry it.
Yeah, they just need to dodge fights a little bit better. Naga Siren can't get picked off like that in her own jungle. And maybe even pick up a Gemna D ward, put it on Naga, repel NaVi's efforts to invade their jungle. I mean, look how many sentries they have. They have 4 sentry wards around their mid T2 tower, trying to see where NaVi has eyes on.
And that is one of the reasons why we see such poor supports. Arcane Boots and Urn, not too bad for the Ogre, but the Shadow Demon is a Bracer and a Magic Stick. He's really had a tough time of it. In good news for NaVi, BKB picked up by Dendi, and I'll double BKB against a primarily magic damage lineup. They also have a great solution for Ravage. all that IAP have is Purge and Net to deal with these BKBs. It will be tough to stop Navi when they go high ground. For now, it's a tier 2 that they claim. Pushing through the middle lane, Havos takes Riptide damage, takes Radiance damage.
They don't have enough
low.
sustain. They
Did
need
they go for it? They're going to Song IAP, ready to take this fight outside their base, but where's the reinforcements? Jay was expecting his team to take that fight, and they're not. Navi are now going high ground. Oh no. Maybe they thought Navi would TP out to defend top, but that didn't happen. BKBs are still ready. Dragonite ult still is about half duration, and Funnick has Lasso. If Navi get a big pick here, this could cost IAP a lane of Rax. They go in with Fox to start. He has his ultimate. Mystic Flare is going to pop that quickly. The Wraith King ultimate doing very little, and he'll get caught a second time. Lassoed, stunned as he tries to retreat out, but who goes in? It's the Ravage from Iwi. It found 4. It's an amazing Ravage. Brings everyone low, but they don't have the follow-up to finish the job just yet. Bimbo, no mirror image, and now finished off by Avost as he comes back for round 2, crashing on top of Iwi, just battering through these IAP defenses. 3 heroes dead, Wraith King ultimate down, Ravage down, Song down. How do you defend now if you're Execration? How do you hang on?
Jay wasn't there early enough. You're supposed to just send illusions to delay, but he actually had to use his ultimate to delay, and then his illusions just got wrecked by Havost by the Flat Cannon in the 5-on-5 fight, and that's actually where most of their damage comes in. It was a pretty fantastic Ravage coming in from you, but just not enough damage to follow up. No cooldown, nothing of that sort. Not enough GG multicast from Ogre, man.
And you really can't count on those anymore with the BKBs.
That was a really nice BKB from Dendy, though, to stop that Wraith King in his tracks. He just died twice without them really getting anything from it.
Oh, Vangscore did go down to a Naga illusion mid lane. Got Riptided, then Radianced, and now they jump in onto Fox. He gets caught out by a Dragonite stun, and Funnick joining that fight with Boots of Travel. More just to celebrate than anything. Now going back to the woods. They get the kill, they take the tier 2, another big win, as Emma Stone, RR, is chased out mid.
Their teamwork was so good in the first 13 or 14 minutes, and then all of a sudden it's just like, I don't know. They
Maybe
just
it's
look
nerves
completely
getting
lost.
to them, not sure. It does feel like a step down. And they find yet another pick-off. IAP with no outer towers, just keep on getting pulled apart by NaVi. I mean, you look at the graph, dude, it was dead even for 10, 15 minutes, it was close. And now it's just out of control. NaVi up 18k gold. They're taking the Rex mid. The Naga's farm progression is non-existent. Drums, Radiance, that's it. And this push just can't really be stopped. MKB now out on Havos, still has the BKB. Satanic's not far off. They're setting up from the backside with Jay. He'll send in illusions to cut the wave, but it's too late. Navi have already taken Rax. There is also exposed tier 3 bottom. If Navi want to push for a second lane, they could attempt it now. Havos will BKB. And he tries to turn, as Fox did force that out with a stun. Then he just TPs out. Song? Not going to happen.
Oh, that was real close to catching him out, too. That was within...
He did find Vangscore, though.
A second.
Didn't know where he was, though. Song down for 2 minutes. Can Navi go for second lane to Rex while this is out?
They don't have to. They can just wait for ages. They're under no pressure. Gyrocopter, he went for Phase, Aquila, BKB. They won that fight bottom, and then after that, his items just skyrocketed because they have no way to kill him.
Yeah, Havos is the little copter that could right now. He's getting, and he's no longer that little. He's getting pretty stacked pretty quickly. The supports of Navi getting aggressive as they move towards the bottom lane. They know Song's on cooldown, and Jay also doesn't have a teleport scroll. They are rotating the Shadow Demon nearby, and well advised that they do, as Jay is about to get caught off the last second disruption. Maybe with the mirror image they can turn this. No, couldn't get it off. Still silence after that. A very costly death. This game plan all about the Naga now. Jay just can't die like that.
Yeah, Shadow Demon's job is to protect him. Well, Jay also is not very careful about sending his illusions out to scout. Very lackluster with Song of the Siren. And
he was outlaning Dendy early, but
yeah,
since then it's
fantastic in lane.
Yeah, the mid-game decision-making does seem to be the Achilles heel of IAP, at least for this first game of Starladder action for them.
And the ability to get down towers. When Navi commits to this much 5-man action, and IAP doesn't have a lineup that's well enough equipped to deal with it, they have to just take towers in return. And if Navi gets gold, they have tower gold of their own. They can get a mech, perhaps, on Tidehunter, something like that to stop this train wreck from happening.
I mean, it's officially train wreck status.
Yeah.
You look at the graph. This is where the train stops if you're IAP.
I think it all started with that fight on bottom with the BKB on Gyro. Caught him completely by surprise, and then after that too, Wraith King's farm just halted.
And since then, the Wraith King has been close to 0 impact as a pick. NaVi will break the base now. Alpha Wolf tucked behind Avos, and they get the lasso. It's onto the Shadow Demon. Emma Stone pulled in. No chance. Very tough not to get caught at this stage with a bat this farm. Funnick with BOTs. Yule Scepter for the move speed. And NaVi, now with the 5v4 advantage, there is a Song and there is Ravage, but Song Ravage, then what? Even if you hit everyone with that, you probably don't kill Havos, you definitely don't kill Dendi, and then you got to fight against their BKBs. They'll go in onto Fox, going to force out his ultimate momentarily. NaVi closing in on their opening win. Now they Song. This is a Song through the cooldown, or through the cooldown, but no Ravage. Yui's just not even in the neighborhood. So they'll lose the tower, the BKBs are still ready. IAP, you gotta defend now or it's gonna be too late. They Ravage, but Avos BKB dodged it. Great reactions from him. That Copter out of control now. Mystic Flare prevents the Iwi retreat. He gets disrupted. Not gonna matter. They'll lose Emma Stone as well. 2 more fall. Makes it 3 in total. Along with that earlier Shadow Demon pick, it's 4 in total. Dendi now stunning Jay under his own base. And Execration on the verge of GGing out. NaVi are just too much at this point. Still, if they can have an early start like this and not throw it away, could see them take a win off of VP, maybe Secret, although Secret seemed to be very good at coming back. So, not good enough against NaVi here in Starladder, Ben.
Yeah, a couple things were just strange about their thing going overboard on the late game with Naga Siren and Wraith King, very farm-dependent heroes, and they went like a 4 protect 1 strat, but actually picked like incorrect heroes. I guess you can't really call it a 4 protect 1. And I mean, yeah, they show a lot of potential. The early laning phase was fantastic. Early CSing, early movement with their supports, controlling the offlaner, their offlaner not dying, the dewarding.
Rune control, yeah, everything was crisp from them.
And then the pushes came. They're like, well, we're going to try and battle their 5-on-5 lineup, even though Batrider has Blink Dagger and we don't have any farm on a Wraith King. And then they just got battered.
What would you have drafted differently instead of Wraith King? Like, what do you think would have been a better pick for them?
I think they could have gone for like a BKB hero of their own, maybe like a Luna to just take down towers very, very early and split push. I think the biggest problem was that they didn't split push enough. And yeah, that's a little bit vulnerable to Batrider, but at least she can stand man-to-man with Gyrocopter. She's a ranged hero, so she doesn't get kited as badly. Maybe something like that. I would have said Life Sealer too, but Treant and
against Skywrath as well.
And Dragon just like destroy him. But Luna also synergizes pretty well with Shadow Demon. That would have been pretty nice for them. And they seem to lack a lot of damage output from this Wraith King, which is where Luna comes in pretty handy.
Now another lasso, pulling in Fox, who doesn't have his ultimate for 18, but the Song will allow them to reset. No Ravage though, so it's just a defensive Song from Jay, and that's a 2-minute cooldown for him. BKB now used by Avos. He's hitting buildings just to try and get the flag to proc. Looking for more flags, not getting them really onto heroes, but well, BKB now used up by Havos, still very tanky. Dendi still has his own BKB ready. And Execration with no Song have no great setup for the Ravage now. Fox will jump in, they get the Ravage, it's on every single hero, but it doesn't matter. Dendi just BKBs, Havos turns around and clears out the illusions, nobody dies, nothing really happens except that Fox eventually will fall after the Wraith King ult. Now Dendi, multicast, dropping low to this, maybe the poison will be enough to take him down. Havos still trying to chase them out, in the meantime Execration retreating to the mid lane. They lost the Wraith King, that's it. Every single spell basically used by both teams. But NaVi are the last men standing, and they'll look now for the Mega Creeps.
I must say the BKB timings of Havos and Dendi have just been absolutely spot on.
Fast fingers,
They
for
predicted
sure.
almost every Ravage from Tidehunter too, and they just can't do anything about it.
Silence. Chemo just gets obliterated by one right click from Havos. And IAP in their opening match, they show promise, but they can't convert on it. They'll drop to 0-1. GG's come out. Still a nice showing for them, and I mean, even having a good start against NaVi is something the vast majority of teams can't pull off, but they won't be satisfied with this, and they'll have to look to bounce back in the upcoming games.
Yeah, I think either the Wraith King or Naga was the problematic pick for them too, and yeah, they need some better in-game direction for that 15 to 20-minute phase. Do they fight 5-man? Do they push on? Do they smoke a wrap from around? They didn't do anything unpredictable, and NaVi just dissected them with their absolutely superior team play.
Yeah, and with that, how do you feel about NaVi looking forward? They still have to play Secret. They still have to play
Pretty good.
VP.
They're against a weak opponent, though. It's very hard to judge.
You think maybe slightly underestimated them?
I mean, they're about right, 80-20. I mean, their early game was a little bit weaker than I expected, though, for sure.
Okay. Well, with that said, we're going to cut to a quick break here, guys. IAPxctn off to a slow start, but when we come back, we'll break down the match. We'll look forward to the upcoming games. Day 1 of Starladder Season 10 now well underway. I'm LD. He's Merlini. We'll be back.
Esportsbets.com, the service where gamers will bet real money on virtual events. Only here, the best odds and widest coverage of games from Dota 2 to Hearthstone.
We have over 200,000 users registered.
Join us. Prove that you are the best versed in esports. Who will get the first blood? Who will take the first Roshan? Who will win the knife round? Participate in the race of predictors and earn real money. The more bids, the more bonuses. Reward for your first deposit up to $600. Esportsbets.com. Foresight, passion, and calculation.
Захват БКБ, кулдаун по 4. Какая просто невероятная дамага!